We have breaking news here on Chicago Bears Now. Not that they lost 29-13. That is not breaking news. The breaking news is that the Bears lost and the Texans won in dramatic fashion to give the Chicago Bears the number one pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. You're watching Bears Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham. A lot to get to. We'll talk briefly about these games, but more importantly, the fact that this team is about to embark on the biggest offseason in their franchise's history by a country mile. We'll discuss it all. How excited are you for the number one pick? If you're excited, type me down in the comments below. Get the me's going. Guys, the number one pick, and you probably aren't going to draft a quarterback, which gives you flexibility to trade down. Unbelievable opportunity with over $110 million in cap space coming up this offseason as well. So spam me down in the comments if you are fired up that the Bears will be selecting number one overall. All right, let's talk or take a look at how this happened as the Vikings took care of business against the Bears, 29-13. Chicago kind of rotated quarterbacks. We saw both Nathan Peterman and Tim Boyle in this game as Peterman went 11 of 19, 114 yards and a touchdown. Boyle 2 of 8, 33 yards and 2 picks. Khalil Herbert finished with 50 yards rushing. Bayless Jones actually had a 42-yard end around for a touchdown. That was the highlight of the day. Good finish to the season for Cole Kmet. Ends up getting his 7th touchdown of the year. Had 2 total coming into the season, so getting 7 this year, that's good growth from him. For the Vikings, professional performance. They get their 13th one of the year. They will be either the number 2 or the number 3 seed in the NFC. But the focus today was, okay, could the Bears get the number one pick in the draft? The avenue was simple. They had to win, or they had to lose and have the Texans win. Well, they lost, and the Texans were up most of the game. Then they get down to the Indianapolis Colts 31-24, but win 32-31. Let's kind of explain how this happened. So the Texans were up 24-14 in this game. Davis Mills throws a pick six. That makes it 24-21. Then the Colts get it back and score again, go up 28-24, get a stop, add a field goal. So then it's 31-24. It's a 17-0 run for Indianapolis in about 10 minutes of game action. But then the Texans go down, convert on 4th down, I believe twice. And the second one was literally just a prayer thrown up by Davis Mills. The Colts safety whiffed the ball, and Jordan Akins hauled it in for a touchdown. 2-point conversion, good. Texans win. I mean, you cannot make it up how dramatic the ending of that game was. It's honestly a perfect ending to the Jeff Saturday experiment in Indianapolis, if we're being honest. But that is what had to happen for the Bears to get the number one pick. Now, we knew pretty early today that the Bears were at least going to get the second pick. They were not going to beat Minnesota today, but we started getting excited. Like, Texans up 17-7, up 24-14. Then it looked like they were going to blow it. But in the end, they get a miraculous touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and the range of emotions just unbelievable here on Chicago Bears Now. Show the love to Lovie Smith. I mean, shout out Lovie Smith for helping the Bears out here, doing Chicago a solid. The last, pretty solid coach the Bears have had with consistent success was Lovie Smith. And, hey, I mean, kudos, Lovie. Best beard in the game. Only beard that I can say is better than my own, Lovie Smith. So spam Lovie in the chat for helping the Bears out. That is truly an awesome thing to see. And now, guys, I get it's been a frustrating season, but this is why you subscribe, because the offseason coming up for the Chicago Bears is going to be historic. I mean, they have the number one pick for the first time since 1947. They have over $110 million in cap space, and that number may increase if they cut certain players. This offseason, make no mistake, is the biggest in franchise history, so subscribe. Don't miss any of it. News, rumors, draft coverage, free agency. It's going to be an electric few months here on Bears Now, so hit the sub button and don't miss any of it. A couple more just kind of not necessarily too specific to the game, but kind of season-ending thoughts. A couple things I did like today. The Bayless Jones end-around touchdown, getting him more involved the last month of the season was nice to see. He certainly had a frustrating rookie year and I don't think lived up to being a third-round pick, but I think we started to see signs of growth down the stretch of the season. Obviously, Justin Fields was not playing today. He was out with a hip injury. Chase Claypool had a couple of nice catches. Him and Fields' chemistry this offseason, that needs to get developed. There's no doubt. I mentioned Cole Kmet, 4 catches, 57 yards, and a touchdown. How about Jaquan Brisker, ending his rookie year with a nice pass breakup, gets 10 tackles. So, there were still some tangible things that we saw take place today with players that do matter for the future. But, man, the focus is the number 1 pick. Rocket Money sponsoring today's show. And listen, the Bears are going to spend more money if they keep the number 1 pick. So save money, trade down from the number 1 pick, just like you can save money with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Bears now to download the Rocket Money app today and create an account and get started, because what Rocket Money does is it helps you stay on top of your spending, monitor your finances, and you are able to keep track of every single subscription you have and that you're paying for on a monthly basis on your screen, and you'll be able to tell, okay, I'm spending $20 on this per month, 15 on this, 8 on this, 12 on this, and you'll probably find out that you're spending more than you would like to. So they're going to help you budget. You can cancel any unwanted or unnecessary subscriptions with Rocket Money with the single click of a button. Go to rocketmoney.com/Bears now. They'll take care of the rest for you guys. There's nothing worse than wanting to stop paying for some kind of a subscription, getting stuck with customer service. Rocket Money does it all for you. So go to rocketmoney.com/Bears now, create an account today, and start saving money here in the year of 2023. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about what's next. So what's next is Ryan Poles holds the keys to the draft. I mean, I'll just kind of go through some options here. To me, you've got 3 options. 1, you just pick the best player available, Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, whatever. 2, you vet the quarterbacks and you say, hey, Justin Fields, we really like you, but I didn't draft you and I like this guy more. I think that's the least likely. I would not go that route. The route I would like to take, if the offers are there, is you trade down for a king's ransom and you get more capital and another first-round pick next year to pair with the one you already have, and hopefully more high draft picks this year. And you start bulking up that offensive line, that defensive line. Maybe you get another receiver, a corner. I mean, you got a lot of needs on this roster. So to me, trading down is the ideal option. Now, you can't force a trade down. If you don't get offers that are adequate, then you take the best player available. You use that number 1 pick. But I pointed out to you guys recently why it was so important to get the number 1 pick, even compared to the number 2, because what if the Houston Texans love Bryce Young way more than the other quarterbacks? Well, the only way they can guarantee themselves that they're getting Bryce Young is if they trade up to number 1, because the risk is, the Bears will take the quarterback, will just sit at 2. Well, guess what? Another team could leapfrog Houston and draft Bryce Young at number 1. So now the Bears, they control this thing. They have all the control. They can do whatever they want when it comes to the NFL draft, and teams will make calls because Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, and Will Levis is a pretty strong QB draft class, especially compared to last year, right? Last year, you had Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis. Malik Willis has been terrible. Kenny Pickett's been solid, but I think a lot of teams last year waited for this year's class because it was like, yeah, we don't like that group last year. We'll add other pieces, draft a quarterback next year. Well, you look at some teams that could be drafting in the top 10 here as we currently sit. Texans at 2 is one. You could have Seattle, who owns Denver's pick. They're currently at number 3 right now. Indianapolis with the number 5 pick, and they are locked into the 5th pick now. They could be a prime trade-up candidate. Maybe Detroit at 6th, who owns the Rams pick. The Raiders, they're done with Derek Carr. They're probably going to draft a quarterback unless they go get a veteran. The Falcons could be a team at number 8. Carolina at number 9. Even a team like Tennessee at number 11. I mean, there are teams, Washington at 14. I mean, teams are going to want to move up in this draft to take a quarterback. And now that you have the number 1 pick, you hold the cards. You let teams come to you, and you're patient, and you wait for the biggest offer available. I cannot put into words how monumental this is to get the number 1 pick. The number 2 pick would have been great too. Don't get me wrong. But the difference between 1 and 2 is real. Believe me, it is a big difference, especially if they are a team that is not going to consider drafting a quarterback. Now, I will say this. There might be a lot of smoke this offseason that the Bears love some of these draft quarterbacks. Why? Because then teams who will also like those quarterbacks, they want to trade up and make sure the Bears don't draft them. So it's going to be hectic. It's going to be fun. Today was a whirlwind. It makes the last couple of months easier because we've watched some pretty bad football at times, but now we shift to off-season mode, and it's going to be a journey. And I hope you guys are here and subscribed and join us for all of it. What would you do with the number 1 pick? What should the Bears do? Type T for trade it, type K for keep it. Again, it depends on offers, of course, but if you get a haul, I think trading it is the way to go because you have a lot of needs on this roster. So I would like to trade it. I mean, you look at some of the needs that you do have. Offensive line, you could use guard, center, tackle. All 3 of those spots are needed. Defensive tackle and edge, you need to revamp your entire D-line. Wide receiver, linebacker, cornerback. This roster needs overall. I mean, you've got guys that you're going to keep around, of course, but you got a lot of needs to fill, and they're not all going to get filled this offseason, but you're going to have a better chance of filling them for the short and long term if you trade down and get more assets. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, there's going to be a lot of juicy rumors over the next couple months, and we're going to cover all of it. So there you go. Bears have the number 1 pick in the draft after a 29-13 loss, 3-14 year. I mean, 10 straight losses to end the year is pretty tough, but you get the number 1 pick out of it, which makes this offseason very interesting and the potential for next season to be a team that makes a giant turnaround. I mean, you look at Jacksonville. Jacksonville was horrible last year. Get the number 1 pick. Trayvon Walker helps, and they spend in free agency, and all of a sudden they're in the playoffs. It can happen if the Bears spend properly and get players in the draft that can help right away. So we'll see if they're able to do that. Shout out Lovey and the Texans one more time. They were able to take down the Colts 32-31. All right, one more reminder to subscribe as we'll have more coverage. We'll have another video tomorrow, probably just the latest rumors around the number 1 pick and every other storyline surrounding this team right now. So go ahead and subscribe, and we'll see you soon here at Bears Now.